Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of Let's Talk Musique. This episode is brought to you by West Coast Guitars. Man, like I said, I just love these guys. I appreciate them sponsoring so much. They literally have everything that you would need is specified for any guitars. They got beautiful, like, Nash Telecasters. I just talked to my friend Steve Kozak. He got these gorgeous gig bags from them. You need to go check them out at 2741 East Hastings. So thank them very much for sponsoring the show. This week, we are talking the Eagles, man.
Eagles. Oh, it's just Eagles. It's not the Eagles.
Oh, shit. I'm already going to get
and I'm
schooled
JR.
here.
This is
I'm Ty. How
Let us
are
introduce ourselves. Yeah, Eagles, buddy. I know, right? I say the Eagles a lot, too. I'm just being a brat because I actually did some research.
They're not as prog rock as we thought.
Right.
It's just Eagles.
It's just Eagles, man. Yeah, holy shit. About time. Well, about time, but I haven't had... It's been a long time since I bragged about or boasted about the Eagles. I can't brag. I had nothing to do with the Eagles. I like to think I contributed to album sales.
So much
I bought albums. When you bought albums... Eagles, man, had a huge influence in my life, definitely growing up. As I stated in episode 1, growing up in a religious family, I didn't get to listen to a lot of old school music growing up. Like when I grew up, I had to sneak my music if I did, or things weren't showing. Like I didn't listen to Black Sabbath like I wanted to.
The Devil's music.
Oh, dude, the first album I saw, like my brother, when my parents went out, my brother was watching me and he put in Bad Out of Hell by Meatloaf.
Oh,
and just that
man.
cover, but the cover of coming out of the ground on a motorcycle.
Wow.
To me, I was like, oh my God, we're all going to hell right now. I'm like 8 years old, freaking out. But yeah, anyway, my point being, I could get away with some
future episode,
Eagles.
by the way.
Yes, future episode. Meatloaf. Yes, it'll be a food and music. Music.
I always wanted a Meatloaf cover band called Pork Loin. Anyway, continue.
We'll make it happen. Yeah, I could get away with the Eagles though, because they were they almost sounded very friendly, very easy listening, and
that yacht rock,
so
man.
I could get away with that.
Smooth.
So I was drawn to Eagles. Yeah,
they were definitely one of those bands for me. There was like my uncles listened to them or whatever that, and it was like, yeah, man, the Eagles, and a huge impact. Like, there's so many classic licks.
Yeah,
guitar-wise, I think that was just like, whoa, you couldn't help but be drawn to it as
and if you think about it, all they had was a 10-year span, really. Like,
it's phenomenal.
Really, like from 70 to 80, 82 when they broke up. It's crazy to think about. I'm like, in that time frame, Eagles they made such an impact and had such an influence, I think, on a lot of people. So that's how good and amazing their songs were written, and the songwriting was something nobody else was doing.
And I'm gonna address something off the top. It's super fun to make fun of the Eagles.
Yes.
It's super fun to shit on the Eagles. It just is. Like, since Lebowski came out, like, you just have to be like, it's just hilarious to shit on the Eagles. Yeah. Or just to say that line. But they are really, really good. Like, it's kind of why it's fun to shit on them.
Behind
for me, anyway,
as musicians, I think musicians, a lot of them, and most I talk to, they have to respect the Eagles just because of
the
their musicianship.
It's ridiculous.
Right there, man.
Just as individuals, you have to respect them, let alone having all those people in the same room creating an album together.
Well, that's the thing. They started off as just a backing band.
It's always the best.
That's it. And so all they were studio musicians, and studio musicians, they know their shit. Like that's their job. Yeah. They're not a punk band. Like, you can't just be in a band and then all of a sudden change over to studio musician. There's a lot of musicianship that goes. So they finally had the idea, maybe we should just make our own band. And once you put the greatest musicians together and they were already working together, it wasn't a created band. You're going to get greatness.
For sure.
And I think that's what we got. Should we get into their albums?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, like, okay, first album from the Eagles was self-titled, 1972.
It was titled The Eagles?
No, it was just titled Eagles. They would never. Yeah, just titled Eagles. 3 singles on it. Some of my favorite songs. But very early country style of the Eagles. They did change midlife, I guess.
This came out in 1972.
Right. 1972. And the 3 singles, Take It Easy, Witchy Woman, and Peaceful Easy Feeling. Like, Witchy Woman, yeah.
And those are pretty different kind of tracks when you think about it, too.
Yes, all three of them.
Yeah, all three of them are very, very different. Witchy Woman is so...
Right? And, yeah, very... The Eagles got destroyed by disco is what happens. I guess that's what happens in their future. But they ruled at this time with music, and they were doing things nobody else was doing. And, yeah, just all over the place. Country background feel to it, but Witchy Woman, like, oh man, it was definitely
the jam,
yeah. Now this was a time as well when you didn't wait 4 or 5 years for an album, because they would only have 2 albums. The Eagles put out a new album every year,
right?
Like, so 1973 next year is Desperado, one of my faves.
Some tear.
Speaking of country,
yeah, man,
this was a concept album, really. In the fact that all the songs were kind of based on an Old West setting and things like that.
Okay.
And this was actually the only album to actually feature the members on the cover, and obviously dressed out in cowboy gear, as 1973 would have them. But from this album, again,
because their album covers usually just have like skulls
or some sort of scenery, something blue sky with some
land, blue, yeah.
Some bland land.
Either an desert. Eagle's skull or something that an eagle would be seeing.
Actually, good point. It's a good point you bring that
POV.
Up. That's a good point. And from this album, 2 singles. Desperado actually wasn't a single. The album title, believe it or not, and as popular as that song is, especially with me. I love that track. Not
is
a
that
single.
Your slow jam? Is that your like?
That's my slow jam.
Hey, baby.
That's when I know it's business
I'm
time.
Put on the Eagles.
That's when the business clothes comes off and the sexy clothes go on.
Get them eagle eyes.
Get them. I spot my prey from a distance.
Oh, jeez.
I come swooping in. This is me at a bar picking up a girl. So it was for this one was Tequila Sunrise and Outlaw Man, but Tequila Sunrise, another one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, come on.
Jeez, like, and they're writing classics yearly, like yearly. These are all done in.
That's the thing. I feel like each album has like 3 or 4 freaking gems,
which makes it kind of feel like their career was longer than it was, because you'd think this had such an impact, but they didn't even give it a year before they were like, let's add something else to it. And
you're right.
They didn't rely on the impact of these songs for years before they were like
3-4 year gap we're used to
and write something. They were just banging out hits. Like,
hey man, strike with that.
That's it. Like,
it's hot.
That's it. That's what they were doing.
Love it.
1974, the next year, On the Border. This is when they finally went a little more rock. Okay. Definitely. And their first album with their guitarist, Don Felder. So I think he definitely brought a lot of that. And at this time, though, the Eagles they're going through a change musically, style-wise. Some members are not hip to changing with the style, but they stay in the band and they do what they have to do.
What year is this? 70?
This is 74.
Yeah, so think about...
Third album, 3 years.
Big time changing, especially within the rock world, where you've got these heavy fucking bands now coming out. That are
early
like, 70s,
like you're amongst a pool of sharks.
Yeah,
as far as
some real
new music is
distorted
going,
shit.
And
Some
really
tones are happening, man.
Yes.
Some dark fuzzy tones are going down.
I love that that's exactly the way to put it.
Yeah,
like music is going through something amazing at this stage.
Yeah,
what I always
adapt.
I always say, if I love the generation I grew up in, I think we have it the best as far as like we got the 90s video games and technology as far as music, movies, film, and things like that. And then and then we got the internet age and computer. But if I was to ever grow up in another decade that I wish, it would be the 70s. Like I would pick the 70s.
Yeah.
Yourself?
50s.
50s?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remind me of a 50s.
I could do it.
Anyway.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could get in a DeLorean right now and just not leave.
And you wouldn't have to change much. You'd
yeah,
fit right
if
in.
I could just go, if I could combine, if I could be like, if I could Back to the Future back and then Groundhog's Day there, I'd be chill.
You're okay.
I'd be cool as a cucumber, man. See,
he's already
got it. No problem.
All right, Tequila Sunrise, Outlaw Man, On the Border. Okay, so the 3 singles from On the Border, Already Gone, James Dean, and Best of My Love.
James Dean, underrated track.
Very underrated.
Very underrated track.
A lot of people don't talk about these tracks either.
It's true. That album, I feel like people don't. Even I don't recognize a ton of that stuff.
Definitely my least on like of. Well, I'm talking about like still amazing, but the least of any of their albums is definitely this one for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But Best of My Love was actually their first ever number one though.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's something for you. They never. Thinking of all those singles I already mentioned, none of them reached number one, as popular as they were.
Yeah.
Like it's wild to think about. To me, they're all number ones. Oh, I'm simping for Eagles right now.
Right. That thirst trapping Eagles.
So now think about this. So they released 4 albums. What do? In 4 years, they released a greatest hits album.
You're damn right they do. You're damn right they do. Also added, what year is this again? Like
1975.
75, mid-70s. Very popular time for the greatest hits.
It's true.
Kind of album. It's kind of before the live kind of album kind of thing of the late 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right. There's these little pockets of things of like how people are kind of doing it and like greatest. And from a record label point of view, it's a fucking no-brainer. You don't have to pay them.
Banging out those singles.
Yeah,
you want to compilate them.
And you don't have to pay them to go. You literally just have all the content there already. You just
drop that record.
Dude, what after like 4 months, I just released like 5 episodes, just smushed together of us, and just release it as a new episode.
That's true. I think we're on to something,
right? I see you, Eagles.
I see the game plan here. And then even with that greatest hits, they still released another album in 75, a brand new album, like a 5th album in 5 years. One of These Nights. One of These Nights, 1975. That album, yes.
The backups, yes. The falsetto backups in that. Oh, yeah.
So many great singles, 3 of them. Take It to the Limit. Take It to the Limit. One of my faves, too. Lion Eyes, another one. And One of These Nights. Yeah.
Oh, One of These Nights. And Lion Eyes, too. I was thinking a different Take It to the Limit, but that's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like Joe Esposito or whatever the heck it was. I was thinking the Scarface one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
and that's also a good Take It to the Limit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Those are some good jams. Like I said, it's always like 3 or 4
bangers.
Monsters.
Like just, yeah. So they definitely, like we said, that year, they had a greatest hits album before this album even. Like, so, and they had no trouble filling it. There was no filler. Like, all killers.
So good.
Yeah.
I love that when it's just front to back.
Yeah. And albums back in the day, I think, did that, focused on that a lot more, because now it's more about singles. You don't have to worry too much about a flow of an album as much as you used to. But then, like, that was the focus. It's a front to back trip. And it was amazing. I miss those times. But then it came the biggest album, I think, of their career, of anything. Like, they could never live up to. And again, 1976, just 1 year later, Hotel California.
Boom.
Like, what everybody watched. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, what can you... The first album, this is the first album also to feature Joe Walsh.
Fucking Rocky Mountain, bud.
That's it. Like,
Joe Wah Wah Wah.
This is when everything changed for them.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You have licks.
What are your memories from this album? You have any?
The album cover alone,
right,
of it, and especially I specifically remember because I think the version, like the CD copy we had of it, had a crack in it, because that's how much it was brought out. Into the case and shit like that. It was like the front case had a crack on it. Life in the Fast Lane's on this, isn't it?
Let me confirm.
I'm pretty sure that Life in the Fast Lane.
Life in the Fast Lane.
So that's
that opening riff.
The first time I've ever heard the Eagles, I don't know, I was 7 or something like that, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier, I don't know. But I remember hearing that, and that's the sickest shit.
dude. Oh,
and then the bass drum, like it's so good the way it follows that.
And I remember reading that was the riff Joe Walsh brought to them, and then they just made it.
You could tell it's just like it's a totally different like flavor. You're like, what's this spice? This spice wasn't here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not oregano.
Who added this?
It's not.
This is not oregano.
John Herb,
but it's original.
Yeah, so good. It's got that like. I think we've talked about this. That swamp.
Yes,
it's got that swamp,
that
dude.
Bayou sound.
Oh man, there's nothing better.
I feel like
than
I'm
that.
wading through crocodiles.
Fuzzy swamp guitar is just the fucking jam. I'd love to know what that is played on. And not a it's one of those licks that sounds extremely easy to play.
Right. Yes.
But to execute, to execute like properly, it's one of those like I feel like AC/DC is kind of like that, where it's like sounds extremely simple to do.
But there's a lot more going on.
And in theory, yes, it is like not so flashy, whatever. But it has to be done just so. And if it doesn't, it sounds completely wrong.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's a good point. And a good analogy to AC/DC because they did that a lot. Just that exact thing. Like a little bit off, and it's not everything's off. Mm-hmm. It kind of drives it, and that riff fucking drives it.
Oh man,
no pun intended for Life in the Fast Lane.
And the backups are like, when they climb up to it. Oh man, yeah, dude, that's a stomper.
That one of the best. Welcome, Joe Walsh.
Yeah, for sure.
2 other singles besides that one, because that was a single. Hotel California, obviously, New Kid in Town. New Kid in Town is definitely another hidden kind of gem, but not hidden, but one that's not talked about enough.
That's a damn good song.
Yeah, a very good song. And the one everybody, obviously, the Hotel California track. There's so much going on in that song.
There is. And there's so much controversy. Not controversy, but like, I don't know, if you're a guitar player, there's like, the Hotel it falls into the Stairway of Heaven category.
Yeah.
There's fuck this track.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I will say one of the coolest like 12-string openings. I feel like Bon Jovi fucking kind of took a little bit about that a little later on, because like it was cool to hear a 12-string that wasn't just like played like an open chordy. Exactly.
Yeah. When you
there's bar chords and shit, and you're like, what's going on?
Fat bar chords because of that 12. They're so fat.
Thick.
They're thick.
That's thick. Every episode we'll mention a
we gotta mention
neck.
How thick that is. That's
what thick
2
neck.
C's. Also, my favorite version of this song, though, I didn't hear until '94 when Hell Freezes Over came out, and they released that, and they did
very good version. Yeah,
and you got to see and watch them. Like, here you have 4 guitars playing 4 completely different things, but so beautifully written. Like, hearing that it makes me as a guitar player every time just smile and get a bit of warm inside.
And the Gypsy Kings version of Hotel California is unbelievable.
See,
I'm also a fan of people who sing in languages where you don't speak it.
Yeah.
And they just make the sounds.
Yes.
Mwah. I love that. I'm all about that.
He's all about that French kiss. I listen to a ton of Japanese metal and rock. And I have no idea
I'm
what
all
they're
about
saying,
that.
But they do metal I'm very attracted to that style of metal. And there's still even some hair and glammy stuff going on.
Fuck yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, dude.
Keep that shit up, Japan.
Yeah.
I like it.
Japan always been good for that.
Oh, they're always good for a lot of things.
Yeah. Indeed.
That Hotel California, the harmony like on that opening is, and then there's behind the lyrics, there's so much. Like, I love how they kept it metaphorical, and people have always speculated about the meanings behind it, and it has more of a happier feeling when you just listen to it not knowing that than knowing what he's actually singing about. Because he stated that, he's singing about not so positive things, the negative underbelly of Hollywood and stuff. But it's weaved into such a beautiful song that you couldn't tell.
And then just a melter of a solo. And the first time, I think, I don't know if it's probably not the first time it happened, but for me, remembering hearing was the harmonizing of guitars in a solo. I don't really remember hearing much of that before, because it was before I heard Sabbath. Again, this is like my uncle's getting me into this kind of stuff. So hearing that sound for the first time is also just like
something. Yeah.
Get it? How that works. It's so cool.
It messes with you a bit.
For sure.
It definitely. And you really got to see right here studio musicians, like we had mentioned before, people who are educated in music really use every aspect of their knowledge on this one track.
Yeah, but it's cool to see them use that knowledge, but not in a way that's like they're using it just because. It's like
you're right.
They're using it at the right times for the right stuff. Like it's beautifully
produced. If they were just doing it because, say, it was an exam on a test and they had to show off all these different things that they knew, it wouldn't be a song even. I don't even think it'd be a hit.
Some people just get fancy to be fancy.
Right. There's a lot of technical music out there. It doesn't mean it's good. You still have, even though they're studio musicians, they had this creative connection because they were actually artists too. Because you don't get that with studio musicians a lot. Because studio musicians are just there. You play this, okay, and you get paid an hour. Yeah, you're not there to create. Yeah. You're there to just do a job. Yeah, so to see studio musicians,
paper monkey.
That's right. If they were doing this in such a way where they weren't showing off their skills, they were just utilizing their skills in such a way that the song didn't lose that. You're right. It didn't lose that attachment to emotion and stuff, because that's what it wouldn't have had that if they were just showing off.
Yeah.
But they created something and you could feel it, and it's like, oh my God, but you felt it on another level because I've never heard that type of guitar work before.
So good.
So yeah, it's that song alone just has so much impact. Anything else you want to say about that song? That was
good.
Where were we? That's 1976. Joe Walsh had just joined. Because I have to mention Joe Walsh joined, but we didn't mention that their leading member Bertie Leadon, he had left.
Got to rock, man.
Yes, because exactly that. His complaint was because they were country-ish, speaking of Desperado in their country, but they were very country orientated. There it is. That's the word. But they slowly got away with that. You could tell from each album. And I guess Bernie was just like, I can't go on.
Which is weird because their debut album has Witchy Woman on it, which to me isn't necessarily a rock song. It's more of like a disco-y kind of jam.
Yep.
But it's not country whatsoever. And he had no issue.
Not at all. I don't know if it's that is definitely a cop-out too, maybe. Maybe a little bit of that, but that couldn't have been the only reason. There's probably behind-the-scenes stuff we don't know about. Already, this album kind of broke them, they said, in a way. Just creating this they never felt like they could live up to this album.
How do you follow up Hotel California?
And that was the thing, and that was Don Henley mentioned that in an interview. He's like, that's really when things started to fall apart, because the pressure of following up something like that.
It's tough, especially when you've been dropping stuff every year,
and it's like that's your
set that precedent. Yeah, you set that precedent for everyone,
and every album just kind of rose in the same direction. Boom, 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 boom. Then you release that. And then 1979. So now you go from 1976 to 1979.
Now the greatest hits.
In between.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Yeah. Another greatest hit.
You're damn right.
Like, they released like 2 albums since their last greatest hit.
I mean, Hotel California is a greatest hits album. Let's just be honest.
Sure.
The front to back, it's pretty much what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true, man.
So then that's one album, taken care of. So you take a couple tracks off it, sub it a couple from the other one, boom. Ship it. Let's go.
Label it, ship it, get it out the door.
Let's go.
But okay, they've been active for 6 years, and it's like 2 greatest hits albums, 6 albums of original work. You just don't get that type of music these days.
No, you really don't.
So yeah, last studio album then, 1979, The Long Run. They disbanded in 1980 until 2007. Disbanded in 1980, but they came back in 94.
1994 for
Hell fucking freezes over,
bro.
This album. Okay, before we jump to that one, we haven't even talked about the last one, but they didn't release another album of original material until 2007 from 1979 was the point of that. The Long Run, 3 singles, Heartache Tonight.
Ooh.
Now there's something special about this track. that even Ty didn't know until I just mentioned to him before the show. And it's not mentioned in their liner notes. It's not mentioned anywhere, but they used Bob Seger for backing vocals for this.
Goddamn! And think about that.
Now hear the song. Yes.
Yeah, and it's blatantly evident.
Of course
that
they
Seger.
did. I was almost mad I didn't automatically think that until I read it.
The same feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I would be like, oh,
dude.
He's singing Bob Seger right now. Like that's really what it was. So there's an amazing tidbit of news I didn't even learn until searching up for this episode. So that to me that was incredible to learn. It kind of blew my mind. I had a moment of same as him. I immediately played the song just because I was like, of course.
That's so great.
So that was a single. And then they had two more. The Long Run,
great
title track.
Yep.
And personally, probably my favorite track from them of all time. I can't tell you why.
Oh shit! So that's from the last album.
That's their single from their last album,
as it should be, and the only song that the bass player ever sung lead on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That jam is just.
It's hard because I'm sure after listening to this, we're gonna be like every song we're like, oh, that's the best, or that's like that jam.
No,
they
but
had so many jams like that, but I can't tell you why is the jam.
Yeah,
like
it's
that
fire.
Is love making, baby making music too.
Man,
like
it's so smooth. It's
so
smooth. That yacht rock to the full
yacht rock.
It is such a good jam. The bass line in it, the organ in it is so good. Like the electric piano. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
I wish we could just have it.
I
on
know.
the whole time.
I know. Oh man, yeah. You gotta check it out.
So that was their last album for a very long time. I'll just read something from them. They wrote, the recording for this album was intense and draining in every aspect of their lives. They say, trying to come up with a worthy follow-up to Hotel California and the impending disco and punk era is coming up. The Eagles definitely felt a bit out of place, they say. They just did, like that was, they felt everything else coming through the disco era, the punk era. Here are the Eagles. And trying to follow up Hotel California. Like, it's amazing to me that your biggest and most
tornado of
it just creates so much more in the background, and like they had enough of each other too behind the scenes, definitely. Which is why on now we can talk about Hell Freezes Over. When they reformed in '94, they released an album, Hell Freezes Over. Well, and they did an MTV show.
And the reason they called it Hell Freezes Over is because they said, well, the Eagles
will never get back together.
Yeah, when the Eagles get back together, Hell Freeze will.
And also, it's also a bit. They say it's a bit coincidence that the songs came out like this, but the originals they had on that, because they released a couple originals like "Get Over It" and songs like that.
Get over it.
It's almost like they're saying it to themselves. Oh, sorry, this is on the 2007 album. When they finally recorded a new album, they knew they had to get over shit, and they knew things like that.
Get Over It's in 2007?
That's from 2007's album.
So they didn't play Get Over It on Hell Freezes Over.
That's nope.
Wow, that's a trip.
That's a trip, right?
Is that a jam?
That's a jam. And that's older. So yeah, and Hell Freezes Over, man. That whole watching that concert, it's on Amazon Prime.
Get it.
I didn't even know this because I'm like, damn it, where can I watch this right now? Because I want to say this. Eagles have released so many farewell tour DVDs and concerts, and I bought every one of them thinking it's the last one. And I have so many. I have like 4 farewell concerts, and they're all different years. And
none of them is better than
the
Hell Freezes Over.
No. That one definitely still has everything I want.
The opening for Hotel California on that, there's the nylon string, that thick neck, that nylon string at the beginning of that is so good.
I watched that yesterday on
Life in the Fast Lane is good, and I believe Life in the Fast Lane was like later on in the concert, like it might be in the encore or something like that. I remember being allowed to stay up to watch that track.
Yeah,
because they would like broadcast it on like PBS and shit.
Hell Freezes Over, definitely something. Like I said, I didn't grow up with their albums, but in '94, when I got a hold of Hell Freezes Over, I was able to go, okay, these songs are this old, and then to go back, like the impact this band had in just a 10-year span,
unreal.
it feels like they've been together as long as AC/DC and stuff, like without the break in the middle. One thing I will say about the 2007 album, it came at a time when it broke. The only thing that I find memorable from it, besides that song, is it broke Britney Spears' streak for #1 albums. She had 4 straight #1 albums. So I blame the Eagles for her downfall.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Get over it, Spears.
But yeah, so just a little tidbit of knowledge there. For that.
What if the Eagles brought you down? Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're riding high, you're Britney Spears, and all of a sudden you're like, who?
They were together for 10 years
in
the 70s.
Yeah.
That's
what do you mean they got 8 greatest hits albums? I'm Britney fucking Spears. Shout out to Britney Spears. We feel bad for you.
I don't want to be in a documentary by the New York Times in 10 years.
No. Or like in the director's car, like the add-on editions.
Commentary.
Yeah. No, we feel for Britney Spears. Free Britney Spears.
Also, the Hotel California album, as of this date, is 26 times platinum, I believe.
Wow.
It's like one of the best, the greatest selling albums of all time.
Yeah, I get it. That makes total sense.
Makes total sense to me.
Okay, should we do our top 5s?
Let's do it.
Okay. I guess I will go.
Let's do it.
I will go first with. I'll read them all first, and then you read yours.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we might have some.
We're probably gonna have some.
We're gonna have some doubles here.
Yeah.
I gotta say, yeah. So again, Life in the Fast Lane for me. That's what started it all. That was the first time I heard and that Joe Walsh guitar. And then what I didn't realize about Joe Walsh too is like later on, like he had a huge influence on pedals and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a really good wah pedal that's like his custom model that's supposed to be like one of the best kind of ones out there. Like
that's amazing. I didn't even know that.
And he's he's just he's a monster player.
He certainly is.
Rocky Mountain Way.
As a guitarist, both of us understand the impact.
It's
Joe
so
Walsh
good.
has had.
Yeah, so Life in the Fast Lane for sure. Witchy Woman. Witch Hey Woman.
First album, very old.
That kind of has a bit of. I don't think the guitars are harmonizing at the beginning notes there, but they are doubled. And that was also a cool.
Layered.
Yeah, it's also a cool sound. That was like you don't hear that a ton.
Hear that.
It's like single notes that are.
That's
like that.
right. That's almost like Phil Spector's wall of sound that he created. Supposedly.
Yeah.
And he created a few things.
Yeah.
Just he did. That. But yes, at that time, that was new.
And that old kind of like dum, 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 like that drum that's just so it's sick. It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
It feels very cinematic. And of course, the Seinfeld thing later on really just helped put that nail in the coffin, as it did with Desperado, which is not on my list, but a great song.
Might be on someone else's.
Take It Easy.
Take it easy.
Oh, man.
I had to learn this in that, speaking on the first episode, that I took a guitar course in grade 9.
Right.
One of the first songs I had to learn to play.
That's so sick. That's what mine was like Hot Cross Buns. You got fucking the Eagles.
I had to learn Take It Easy and Brown Eyed Girl.
See, what the fuck? Van Morrison. And fucking that's Eagles. Some bullshit.
I had a cool teacher. Shout out to Mr. Shoesmith. Family Secondary.
I did too, but I don't know. It was classical, so they made you do stupid. Yeah,
we had to do.
Everyone always had to pick. Like, it was always like "Come as You Are" or whatever like that. It was always people's first songs, or like a Rage song or whatever.
It's "Come as You Are" or a Green Day track tends to be most people's first songs.
Something off Dookie. We'll get into
something
that.
Off of Dookie for sure.
Okay, so I gave 3 there.
Yeah.
One of These Nights.
Oh, gorgeous.
And that's their 4th studio album.
That's
album,
right.
Yeah. Oh man, it's the weird like. Ba, 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 like weird backups at the end of it. It just
they were very experimental too,
for sure,
for a country rock band.
Yeah, especially with backups and vocal layering,
vocals. They love their backup vocals
for sure.
Harmonizing.
Yeah, that just got like a good like kind of minor descending lick. That's kind of the main verse, and then in the chorus it's this really uplifting weird. Oh, it's great. It's such a good tone. Okay, and the last one, I can't tell you why. Tell you why, man. I don't know. This song I feel like recirculates for me like a couple times a year or
it's
something like that.
It's back into my playlist.
I'll just hear it somewhere.
And then
I'll
remove it.
My God, what a jam! And I'll just deeply listen to it. Like it's the bass in it is so good.
Every aspect of that song to me, it makes a perfect song. Like there's no part of that song that like everything is just perfectly placed. If you're to structure what a perfect song should be, that line, that bass line, like
so sick.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolute.
That's an amazing top 5. All right.
Let
me see what I got going on here for top 5. So this was hard to do. This
for you, I can see this
one
being
of the hardest things for me to do. I have a list of like even 10 or more. I'm just gonna pick 5 from it. I'm gonna not try to repeat the ones that you said then for this. Tequila Sunrise. Let's start. And this is in no particular order because I just could not do that part.
I feel like that's going to be kind of the case every time we do these top 5s.
I think so too. Yeah. Good point. Top 5, it's just 5 favorites. It's not, I guess, top 5. It's our top 5s, but in no order for sure.
Yeah.
Tequila Sunrise. Just another tequila sunrise. There's, oh man, when I heard that,
it's just so good.
There's some like that song inspires exactly what the name of the song is to me. Like when I hear the words tequila sunrise, I think of tequila with a sunrise on a beach, like on a park bench somewhere. Just
it does got that like Buffett feel, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. The Buffett effect.
Yeah,
it's got the Buffett
buffet, bro.
The buffet effect.
Buffet.
I pronounce it buffet.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that song to me, it with like a lot of my songs I'll mention, it gives me these certain images. Like music, when it paints an image in your head.
I feel like the Eagles were always very good at that.
Imagery.
Like even just you listen to Hotel California and you
I think of that
exact
hotel on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly it.
And
man.
even just the photos, like
the cover of the album.
The cover of the album is epic.
That's that exactly neon. What I see.
That Tom Cruise and cocktail neon sign.
Boom, exactly. Yeah, and that's what they do. So that song does it. Ooh, let's go with In a New York Minute.
Oh, what album is that on?
So
that's gonna be later.
Let's see here.
That song is so good.
Oh, I don't have it listed here as a single. Maybe it wasn't even a single.
I can see it being like on a movie or something.
That's right. It was probably something like that. In a New York. It was on a movie, I think.
Everything could change.
In a New York Minute. Oh, again, speaking of the background vocalizing and stuff, the
ooze, dude. The ooze. Good ooze.
That's what gets it for me.
For sure.
So that's 2. Let's go with Love Will Keep Us Alive.
Yeah.
Love that track.
That's one that's like when you're listening to when your uncle's showing you, that dirty swamp fries.
Yep.
And then that one comes on and your Nana goes, I like that one.
So again, my top picks, you'll notice it has a correlation with me not being allowed to listen to certain people.
For sure. Yeah,
so I could put that track on in the car and actually have my mom and dad maybe go, listen to most of it before. What is this garbage? But yeah, you're talking about love keeping you alive, and it's said to. And my parents would be acceptable of country music, so there's a lot of my picks are going to be those soft ones.
No sins happening.
No sins happening with the Eagles at this time. Love will keep us alive. In the City. Another track like that's my 4th pick. In the City.
What album is that off of?
So In the City was.
I don't know that one. I'm not so familiar with that one. I gotta check more of that out.
Again, not a single. I'll have to look up the album. We'll discuss it. Maybe add it to the notes editing after.
Will do. Editing guy.
Note.
Hey, editing guy. You paying attention, you stupid idiot?
Every question.
I need you to put it in down here.
Don't be so hard on yourself. All right. Number 5. Last one. You took. Okay. It would be I Can't Tell You Why, but I'm going to choose something different. It's all just wasted time.
6. Oh, that's a smooth jam too. That's a good jam.
Yeah, something about what the Eagles know how to do those slow, sexy jams right, as much as they can in the fast lane break it out. And Dirty Laundry, they can definitely get into another one. Dirty Laundry is.
Man, it's
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable how many songs in such a short period of time.
In that amount of time, I can't even pick 5. Like I
can't imagine what would happen without or if bands didn't get all fucked up.
I know, right?
I don't know a ton of their drug history, but I know it was I think it was pretty heavy.
Again, the way they came together, it wasn't friends who grew up with each other.
Right.
Studio musicians who just realized they liked some of the same things. So, yeah, once then you get into that kind of fame and those hits, there's not much holding that friendship together besides I gotta do
cocaine.
I need money for that cocaine.
Yeah.
So that's what that's all about. But to see them later in life, Hell Freezes Over, and later in the 2000s, they seemed pretty friendly. They seemed okay with each, like they get over it a bit.
Well, and that's the other thing. It's like there are multiple members of the Eagles that have branched out and had very successful. Yes. Again, they had sex and very successful
individually
careers.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But imagine if I wish we could have got the '80s Eagles. I wonder what it would have been.
Oh man, yeah.
Can you imagine what an '80s Eagles in amongst hair bands and metal coming through and disco?
It would have been unbelievable.
And punk, all those things just emerging and exploding, and here you have Eagles just. I can't tell you why. Yeah, so man, that was a pleasure today doing that because
man, I think that was
Eagles don't get talked about enough.
No, like I said, it's a classic thing of everyone likes to shit on the Eagles, but goddamn it, they're really good.
You can't deny those hits that I mentioned today. You can't deny those songs. You can't deny that you get a good feeling.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
Let's do it.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank
if you
you.
like the channel, please subscribe, like, share.
Comment, do it all.
Do it
Get the algorithms going.
A big thanks to our sponsor, West Coast Guitars, for sponsoring the show today. We will catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.